can tell you how I feel about it.
Please.
There's no way that I would be for hiring a new administrator. But I think we should advertise the position. I think we should interview. And I think we should make our final decision after we know what's out there.
And we are at a point where we have a job description put together for that.
Priscilla Slow will have it.
There is one that was proposed.
And I think
No, but they worked on that.
Priscilla and
Yes.
Alstead worked on it.
I'm saying there was one that was proposed, so, and if it's been worked on, fine. But I would also suggest that I believe the town of, I can never pronounce this name. Lineborough Public Administrator should be invited in to meet with the board because he has agreed to do so, and that we can share with him any questions that the board may have, so that, and probably from what I understand from the committee that I was on, will lend an awful lot of light as to why we might want to consider hiring that individual, because only one of the prior board members was able to meet with that person, and I don't know if or not that person shared the information, but I really would suggest before decisions are made, yes, no, whatever, okay, since the money was put in the budget by the old committee, the old board, that you have that meeting. And then you can make a decision.
I'd like to throw in a point. We talk about Lineborough an awful lot. I have a little bit of a good friend who runs the Lineborough ambulance. I think the thing to do, though Lineborough is an identically sized community to the town of Alstead, the median demographic of money is not even on the same planet that Alstead is in. And I hear these comparisons back and forth to Lineborough and us being much like Lineborough. We're nothing like Lineborough. So I just think that should factor in, though we are identical in land mass and population. We do not have 13 police officers. We do not have 3 ambulances. We do not have...
We don't have the jobs that they have.
That's not the point for the discussion.
Well, the point is about the role of the town administrator. And he's not the only one. I was at a selectmen's meeting down in Chesterfield a couple of weeks back, and Chesterfield has a town administrator. There's lots of them we could talk to. I think
absolutely.
Your caution is noted that we are not Lineborough.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
We were thinking about coming up with something to put in the paper for somebody to do accounting, but if you're going to go in that direction...
I don't think an administrator is going to do accounting.
Well, I don't think they will either, because they aren't going to be willing to do that.
So in other words, you guys have some suggestions about how that money may be better spent than a town administrator.
Because if I'm actually going to go...
Well, you keep saying
I am,
but here you are.
Getting closer.
No, I think it would behoove us to revisit the job description that was produced by, that you guys took and then was massaged a little bit by Joel. We can review that. We could get some
You
feedback
have to have
from
all
you
the
guys.
information in order to be able to make a decision. Okay?
Yeah.
And make a decision.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we have a
Personally,
lot.
I think that before you, I understand you need to look at it before you make a decision, but I think the most important thing is to take care of Kelly over there. I would hate to see one day of her having to be in the office all by herself. Because Linda does plan on retiring, and yes, she maybe will help part-time or consult, but Kelly needs a person. I think that should be our top priority right now to keep this town office running properly.
And
We can all agree that we don't want to see Kelly pull her hair out or have it go prematurely gray.
you'll never know.
Chris?
We could learn a lot from process.
Plus, in the last couple of years, the budget committee has done a tremendous amount of work on looking at different department heads to see where they, can save and conserve. Plus the fact that if you start meeting once a month with these department heads and you're right on people about overtime and stuff like that, it's gonna make a big, you found $75,000 last year in the budget. It wasn't appropriated for a town administrator. You took from this department and that department, which shows, there's money in there that could have been saved if you didn't have a town administrator. So I think what you're doing once a month by meeting and being on top of things,
May provide some of
is
that.
definitely gonna make.
Right, because I anticipate, the way I look at this, you aren't gonna need an AABC if you get a town administrator, because the town administrator is not gonna work with you being their boss, AABC being their boss, and everybody else being their boss. They will walk out the door.
In some incidents, it's almost like the ABC almost acts like, or I don't want to say they act like, but the committee has more power than the selectmen in some ways because of the numbers. When you start seeing selectmen 2-1 and you start seeing the ABC, with higher numbers, it's.
Right, and to be perfectly honest, this job has been tripled since the AABC.
Right. And do you think that will level out, Linda, now that things?
I'm not sure, it depends how the people on the AABC act about it. I already had one instance where I didn't say anything, but I felt that, again, it was overstepping, and they shouldn't have had anything to say about it. We know our job here. We shouldn't have had these emails going back and forth.
Well, I suspect we'll probably have a meeting regarding the roles. We can put that out as
Why, thank you, Chris.
a subject on an agenda where we could discuss the roles of the AABC.
Right.
If you guys would like to do that, we'll make that part of next week's agenda.
Right, because there is, I understand when people donate time and stuff that they own it, sort of own it. But if they need to see the other side.
Understand. And we knew, I speak back to when we got this whole thing going, was we knew that there would be an impact, and we had hoped that we could keep it minimal on the employees of the town. We knew that first year would be difficult because the AABC was starting from scratch and didn't know anything about anything. But we hoped that as time went on, that impact would be.
But I do think that with you guys meeting with the department heads, that is very important. That got left out last year a lot. And it also got left out of even the AABC meetings, that they took over for the department heads. And the department heads don't feel good about that.
I understand.
Well, they shouldn't. If you hired them to do the job.
We need to hold them accountable for doing their job.
Right. And I think you'll get full cooperation.
I don't doubt that at all. But we will make that a topic for next week.
If you want to go on the topics for next week is.
We are getting to the point where we start adding topics.
That's how you're going to need over here.
There's actually,
You're not smiling, man.
we've been pretty close. So we asked for any other new business.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay, these guys, do you have any other new business to bring up? Okay.
The only thing I have should be non-public.
Okay, then we'll keep going down the line. We have no more new business. Are there any comments? And I want to say a word about this a little bit. Tonight we've really tried to entertain viewpoints as they popped up. We hope the meeting sort of evolves to I don't want to say there's less of that, but there's stuff that's pertinent when we need to. We want to absolutely recognize the input of the public, but we want it to continue running as a meeting and not as just a free-for-all. And sometimes that's how it's been, so forgive me if I'm sometimes curt in trying to keep us moving along.
Are you ready for me?
You are in the comments from public/discussion section, so feel free.
Okay. Starting this month, we are going to put into effect the paid weekends that were approved by you guys last year. 3 of our 4 EMTs have passed the class, have passed all their tests. The 4th one goes Thursday. I don't have any fear that he won't as well. That was money well spent. As you can see in the supplies line, in the supply line of the budget this year, I am at 185%.
Good job.
As about 70% of the equipment on the ambulance was expired and went past the state inspection, so it had to be replaced. It is all expendable. Everything in that ambulance has a date on it, nothing I can control. That's just the way that it is. The maintenance and repair, you'll see that 124%. We lost the entire electrical system in the ambulance again. That problem should be resolved. It has 2 new alternators, a new inverter, new charger. Everything is really good there. Overall, we're at 18%, which is right on track where we need to be. I had one question for Linda. What is this negative 156%?
I'm not sure, I'll have to look at it, that's not the only one. I've got a couple other ones, I can't figure out what it's done.
So, this month's report actually looks really good in that we've spent 7% for salary. The first 2 months were incredibly slow, and there's been 7 or 8 calls in the last month.
That's good, that's good, and that can offset the.
And that is helping offset a lot of that. And the other thing that will be offsetting a lot of that is training. I don't foresee using the entire training budget for this year. I, however, have not ordered any of the new members their protective equipment because I'm waiting for them to pass. And they all have, so I'm going to be spending that money as well. So, I'm going to bring up again, we really need that door fixed because it's going to fall off.
We have
This is the
tried,
side door.
The side door.
Yes.
we have
That's the
tried.
only thing that I care about is that side door.
And while you're fixing the door, can you fix the door on the other side of the town hall?
Yes.
That was,
I had to chain it because I had stuff in there for election, so I had to borrow from the fire department.
Okay, so we have, what's his name who has given us, has not provided a quote for that one
I
yet?
think he
I
has
think
that,
so.
Okay, that's
I
one
reached
bit.
out to Bill Rodenberg and asked for that list that he and Joel were working on. So we'll have to see. I can bring this to the next meeting and see if one of those doors is on there, or maybe all the doors. We have not heard that from Keen Door, which is another one.
Okay, and was there a spec that we put out there
Oh,
for
yes.
request for proposal?
Yes, that's actually my bigger concern is the post holding the overhang off, because at this point, they're not even attached to the ground.
We don't have to wait for the next meeting.
No, well, yeah, Brock has said that he thinks he can find some people who have bid on that too, and we can get more than one person.
yeah, if you can think of anybody, think of it. Because I don't think Keen Door needs our business. You know, I mean, if you call them twice and they don't come.
All right, so maybe you guys can work with Rock and
Right.
see if we can
See if
exchange
we
some
can find
names and see if we
some
can get another bid for that.
Right.
I agree, we don't want to postpone this, but if we can get a bid that's.
Did we send out a form?
No, that was it, because we never got what, Rosenberg was the one that was supposed to tell us what it needed. Did he?
Yes,
So we could
I
get,
asked for all
his
the information.
Why don't we get his specs, I'll send it to a couple people.
okay.
Get some quotes.
I mean, at this point, it's a hazard to,
Wear your hair cut.
Noted.
Are we talking 2 different doors?
No, well, we've
Yeah.
talked about a lot of doors, but this is the side door on the town hall.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that,
and it's,
Overhang is like,
That's the second one.
yeah.
it's rotted completely
Right.
Fire station.
and hanging, and The posts aren't even
Down
attached.
within the article gathering.
Right, there's two different doors that
I'm
I'm
fine,
talking
no
about.
problem at all.
Right, but I think we should get both of them quoted on at the same time, because whoever's there, it would be, see, he might give us he doesn't have to leave and come back.
Right, it might be a
Have
little.
we talked about just removing the damn thing and we're done?
I'm fine with that. I don't care. It's just, right now, it's a safety hazard.
You don't want to see somebody get hit when it comes down. Right, we agree.
Could be.
And I would also ask for security reasons that we take the glass door out and replace it with a security door.
So that has is that like a 9-panel door or
No, it's just an old
single panel?
single pane of glass.
Okay. Okay, maybe we'll make that part of the spec too.
Yeah,
That's-
replace the door.
Okay.
Do we have a liability problem until we get it fixed?
I would say that we are, yeah, there's a vulnerability there.
Well, let's build it off. Unless there's a fire hazard. Now, if there's a fire hazard, you can't get the exit. The door's closed.
I think we have to maintain 2 exits.
Right, we do.
Okay.
And it's
Especially-
the only door that we can enter to get the emergency equipment. So that's why I kept bringing it up. It needs to be addressed.
Yesterday.
Yes. And we've been talking about punch list and this and that, and it's just gonna fall off. And I just don't want it to fall on one of my people. Or whoever it falls on, I'm gonna have to.
For the door on the side on the town hall,
Yeah.
those 2 doors, that's different doors, right?
Right,
Correct.
So my question is it ever, I know at one time we're gonna figure out how many keys were out there to get into the town hall. And I think that's one of the problems why that door ended up being the way it is, so people can just come in and out. Too many people were coming in and out and they didn't have keys. And it's a shock to be in there setting up for an election at 10 o'clock at night and not realize somebody had just come through the door and were tapping me on the shoulder.
So that
Plus I
may
was
be,
reading
that,
stuff.
that's gonna be a separate conversation.
yeah, that has to be a
How many
separate
keys have
conversation.
gone out, how many people have received?
We talked about
What
this
we've
over
done,
a
the
year
keys
ago.
lately that we've had, we mark and they bring them back. We know where all of the house keys are, but how many are out there, we'll never know because people can make,
Change laws.
There needs
Well,
to
the
be a
lock will
change of law.
change when
Right, how
the door
often do we
changes.
change the pin pad? Because you can get in without a key, right? You just.
in the pin
I
pad.
never go through the door that's unlocked. I use my keys. I go
We're talking
through
about
the,
the ones into the meeting.
well, I've had the
Gotcha.
same key for 15, 16 years.
Okay. Then I think we can take a look at that.
I think that's something that we should look at some point, but let's get the doors fixed first.
All right. Anything else from the public or general discussion?
Just as a point of decorum, maybe I missed it, but did you make a notice at the beginning of the meeting if this is being taped?
No, I did not. We'll remember that. Joe was always so good at that. Well, everyone should know that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live on the internet. So we'll make that part of our thanks by private citizen. Okay.
Couple notes, if we are gonna do roadside mowing, we're gonna have to start writing RFPs to get that out there and get something lined up on that. And also, Joel was talking about getting quotes together on summer mowing, Miller Green and that stuff. So
I have 2 or 3 people that want to quote on that, but I really want to know how you want them to quote on it. They want to quote the same way. I said so much per hour, but we don't know how many hours it's gonna take them, so it really doesn't.
But do we have what I hope we can see out of this is that if we're gonna sub some of this stuff out, that we define exactly what mowing we're looking to have done, number 1. Number 2, how many hours do we expect to save from town employees?
So who's gonna come up with that?
I would say David should provide what needs to be mowed, what gets mowed, right? And anybody can work with him who
And-
wishes to.
And do we really need to mow everybody's shrubs down? And cause tens of hours of work fixing the mess that this stupid thing makes.
Just yours.
The thing with the roadside mowing is that's gonna be basically a heavier mowing.
That's not what we're talking about.
Correct. The
We're
two different
talking about-
subjects, the roadside mowing and regular mowing.
Well, I'm talking about regular mowing first. So David is head of DPW.
Yeah, you should do it.
And Parks, right? He should be able to put us together, this is what needs to be done. And then we can determine how we want to spec that out, whether we want to spec it out by the hour.
We don't have anybody to follow for all.
We
Yeah, we do. It's the part-time in his budget.
The argument is it could be
Less expensive.
less expensive and save hours
Oh,
than
oh,
be working on the highway.
Plus,
So contracted by,
I think.
not by the hour, but
It
by,
should be by the whole
yeah.
job.
Once we know everything that is
Yeah,
out there
that's
that
the only
needs to
way
be
you're gonna
known.
get compared apples to apples. If somebody gives us an hour one, it takes one 10 hours and one 5.
That's it. I think that's it. So, we did talk somewhat about doing the roadside mowing the same way, if we could find somebody.
Subcontract.
You need to have some level of permits and something to do that, the roadside mowing.
No, just insurance and
Yes.
the same guy that mows Ackworth was the one that I spoke to about doing.
Okay.
Did a good job in Ackworth, but I mean, obviously the RFP needs to be put out for the video bids and stuff.
Right. So we could begin to work with David on putting that together too. We have a number of miles that this encompasses.
Well, basically, we just put in a dollar figure and said, when that's out, it's gone, because you can't say you're gonna do 5 miles for, $1,000 or something like that,
You don't know what it's gonna be.
because each mile can be different depending on the growth that you have there. If he's hacking down trees that are 3 inches in diameter,
Understand.
you're gonna go slower, where if you're going along just mowing nice small
So-
stuff, you just go right along.
Right. Must have some sort of rate, though.
He charges by the hour, the guy I talked to, he says whatever it takes, and that's the way I do it.
So what, I guess my next question is, what is the purpose of this destructive mess making?
Well, I'll tell you, you do need it in some place. And one place that they do is right up on the corner by the lake.
Well, you should
People
come up
can't
to my
see.
house where they took all my shrubs down and left them so
So
I could.
doesn't that, you got the state.
No, I had the town.
Well, the
'cause
state does it too.
No, the state has never done
No,
it.
not on your place, but the state does do it.
Well, I understand that, but the state doesn't come off the road to make sure they get all of my shrubs. So,
Yeah, they don't do wide streets.
Well, that is right.
so I guess my question is, it has never been done before. I had a bunch of excavation and planted a bunch of shrubbery, and 3 months later, this menace of piece of town equipment that's never been used before comes up and destroys all of my shrubbery.
Well, that's not right.
No, it's not. It left the highway to mow my shrubbery.
Are you coming to us with a complaint about
Yeah,
damages?
I came on a complaint on multiple occasions.
How far back is it from the road?
How far back is
How
your
far
place?
back is it from the road?
How far back?
Yeah, off the road or your truck?
They left the road.
That's,
Yeah, but how far back they own?
is it 2 feet off the road or 10 feet off the road?
Oh,
Is it in the right of way?
You know what road that's on?
I don't,
Bobby
but
Brown.
okay, so it was that
There was no reason.
full extension into my field.
you must have taken somebody off.
Well, that's, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, and I'm fine with that, but.
I'm not fine with the fact that you put money into,
I don't think
you
it's
put money into planting shrubs. And you planted them did you plant them outside of the
Well-
right of way? Well, he doesn't have to.
Oh, my goodness.
I will go measure.
The shrubs in the
That-
right of way.
And if he
That
did,
sounds like a visit for one of the board members.
That's a-
Yeah, I
agree.
Go up there and look.
I will be planting steel shrubs next time.
Make sure they stick when you put them in.
Plant bulbs.
Like in Jerusalem, they put those little signs up, do not mow.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Hey.
we had talked about all this roadside mowing and it just, A week later, they came and decimated every piece of stuff I have. If it happens again, I'm gonna have a really, really super serious problem with it. Because the only thing left are the very expensive ornamental trees, which are well off the right-of-way. I have cleaned my right-of-way off for the town. I removed all the old fence. I've graded it out. The town now has a much bigger place to put all the snow, and I just don't understand why all the shrubbery and trees that we planted were just mowed over. We've spent 20 hours so far this year cleaning up the mess that this stupid thing does, because it doesn't efficiently cut anything down. It shreds them and lays them down, causing the property owners hours and hours worth of work to clean up after this stupid mess of a thing.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what the purpose of doing this is. What is the purpose?
I think the purpose is, we anticipate that it is actually gonna mow, and it's gonna mow down corners so people can see around corners when they're trying to make a turn, and they'll see traffic coming and things like that. That's not to say that it's being done well or it's being done right, or that those blades might not need sharpened a little bit. What I do think we need to address is if you have a problem where we mowed down your shrubs, you come to us, one of us goes out there, takes a look at it, figures out if the town has done you wrong. And if we have, then we should make that right. That's what we should do. But I don't think we're gonna solve it tonight.
No, I'm not fine with that.
So I think we can come back.
Moving forward, I think that you should know that the blades are dull and
Yeah. Yeah, and I think those are questions we can bring up with Dave.
$2,000 for one of your
It's not a very attractive way to do it, and I think you can clear those right-of-ways by getting out there with a chainsaw. I'll get out there with my clippers and just hook it back.
Great, we have a volunteer.
Let me know which corner, it's like, I'll even get my hand out and cut the tree.
I don't disagree. I just don't like the manner it was done.
I don't disagree with you. Okay, items we want to make sure we have on next week's agenda, which will be much shorter than this one. I have the role of committees. We have not talked about that. We can talk about that next week.
What's that?
We have proposed an ordinance that would forbid the use of marijuana
I
in town.
will forward you, Tim, because you haven't got what?
I just wrote out that.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it.
Do you
The
have it?
same, yeah.
Okay. What? From the lawyer?
Same thing that we received from,
I didn't get any.
local government.
Well, we forwarded it to you from the lawyer when I
Yeah.
sent it up to him.
Yeah, and it's exactly what LTC has said too. We will discuss that in our next meeting. So we got rolling committees, we got ordinance.
No, what I call it, report from the last meeting.
Also, the firefighter proposal next week.
Do you know if they're ready to?
Yeah.
They're ready to move ahead with the purchase?
Yep. They're planning on next week.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, I see, that's good, because that's budget. Oh, the fire truck moving the fire department?
No, they're EMSG,
Carol's got something.
but Carol's on both of them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they asking to come in and present?
Yes,
Okay, so they need to be on the agenda
Yeah.
specifically.
yes.
Okay.
And also keep in mind that the door, if we buy a new one, I'm not sure if it's gonna get stored in the East Station or down the village, but I'm not sure if the other
That has
station.
to happen.
So
Why would it get stored? It's replacing the village engine. Why would it get
It's
stored in
not.
East House?
I'm not certain upon anything, but.
It's not
maybe it's on
going
that.
up east, that's been pretty clear in
Okay.
the meeting too.
will
We
discuss
do
that
have, one of those back, we have another quote on that,
on the trunk,
on the front door.
on the front door, okay. Then we're gonna put the front door discussion.
But we really really should try to find somebody else because the other person that we have the previous quote from is not available. I'm putting it nicely.
Well, we spoke to that Violet before,
We had talked about that, we had talked about granting Violet's Pool a credit card.
Yes, and that was the other thing that I was gonna bring up, they want 3 credit cards, and they don't care if it's as much, so made out to the 3 of them, the 3, committee members.
Okay.
The board members.
Board members.
We do the purchases.
Right.
Last year, it was cash out of our own pocket, and we reimbursed.
I think we will put this on the agenda for next week.
Right.
We will talk about it. Well, I think what we're all in agreement on, just in our slight offhand conversation, is that nobody's really opposed to it. We want to make sure that the checks and balances are there so that we're following the letter of the
$10 limit will work.
$10 for 5.
Well, I'm not sure what Kathy's was. 400 or 500?
No, actually, the credit card had 1,000 on it. But what I would suggest, no, you have to look at it a different way, because what happened was you had different events. We'll discuss it next week.
But if you guys want to get together and hash through some of
Right.
this, get the history together, we'll discuss it like next week.
And even if it's only one card, if it comes out that you would just prefer the one card being transferred to one person, I would put it in Steve Blake's name.
I think we're going to be
I
looking
think we
for
should-
suggestions from you guys, recommendations from you guys, but we'll discuss it next week. Anything else to add on to next week? Is that it?
All right.
Did we get done in time?
Yes, we're done ahead of time.
Wow. Yeah.
Unless that clock hasn't been changed.
No, we were scheduled to be done at 8:15. Is there a movement to adjourn?